something happening here, and what it is ain't exactly clear. And there's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out For What It's Worth by the Buffalo Springfield, one of my all-time favourite bands. Really, really cool song, this one. I've had to simplify it just a little bit for beginners, but not much, and it's a really, really fun song to play. A really good one for having a sing as well, if you want to get into singing and playing at the same time, because the rhythm can be really straightforward, and the strumming in the chorus and the words kind of sync up nicely together. So if you want to play along with the original recording, I should warn you, the original recording is a little bit flat of what we call concert pitch. Like if your guitar's in tune and you try and play along, they're going to be a little bit lower in pitch. I think possibly the tape machine was slowed down a little bit before they mastered the recording. I'm not exactly sure, but sounds a little bit funny to my ear. But so watch out for that if you want to play along. It would be a little bit tricky, but it's such a nice tune to play generally, and it's still just using our regular A, D and E chords, like the songs that you learn in stage 1 of my beginner's course. So we're starting off. The intro is just an E chord for a bar, 2, 3, 4 to an A, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4 and A. Now just a little note here, when you're just doing a big strum, you definitely want to make sure that you're tapping your foot, for sure, but it can also help if you're moving your hand as well. So even though I'm strumming, down, 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 I'm still moving it. 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4. It's a really good way of kind of helping you stay in time, okay, and that's a pretty big deal. So when we get into the verse, E, there's something happening, A, 2, 3, and what it E ain't exactly A, 2, 3. There's an E with a gun over A, telling E I've got to be A, 2, 3. I think it's time we... Okay, now we've got to change up the strumming a little bit. If you're a real beginner, it's completely cool to just stay with doing really simple strumming and playing the E chord once, the D chord once, and then back to the A chord once. But just note that the E and the D are for just 2 beats each. So we'd have E, 2, D, 4, A, 2, 3, 4, and then we're back into the verse sequence again, okay? An alternative, because it's nice to break up between the verses and the choruses, right? If you do the same sort of strumming all the time, it can get a little bit boring. So if you move to 4 down strums to the bar, for that particular bit of the chorus there, it just makes it sound a little bit different. So we'd move to, when it goes to the E, I think, well, it's time to E, to D, A, 2, 3, 4, and then back to the verse too, with the big spreads. Okay, and again, I think it's time we E, children, be that sound, A chord, look what's going down, and then back to those big strums again for the verses. It's a really, really nice way of doing it. If you want to make it a little bit more fancy still, one of the things that I'd recommend is doing an up strum after 3. So on that we'd have the E, down, down, then we change the D and we do down, up, down, and then on the A, down, 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 up, down. Okay, so that whole sequence would be E, down, up, down on the D, A, down, down, up, down, and then we're back to our big floaty chords, which is really, I mean, it's such a nice thing to have this kind of contrast between those, the more strumming going on in the chorus. And you could try other strumming patterns for sure if you want to. That is totally cool. Another nice thing to play about with this, if you're into your guitar effects, if you've got an electric guitar, you might want to have a bit of a play about with some of, you know, digital delays or flanges, and just see, because it's a pretty psychedelic kind of a tune. You're after some weird sounds there, so you might find this song is a cool one to have a little bit of a play about with the toys. I'm going to show you one other thing which is way more advanced than a beginner song, and I'm kind of was reluctant to put it in, but it's such a nice little twist that you can throw in if you want. One of the parts on the original recording is what's called a harmonic. Okay, so if you're a beginner, you might like to try this just as an idea. But if you touch, say, your second finger very lightly at the 12th fret, where your double dots are, so this side of the double dots, the bridge side of the double dots, if you touch very, very lightly and pick the string, you get this really high note that rings out for ages. Okay, if you press too hard, you'll get this, and it won't work. You've got to kind of rest it very lightly on the string, and then play, and then you can lift your finger off, and the note stays going. It's a really cool thing. We can use them for tuning and all sorts of stuff later on. But that's the one at the 12th fret, and the same thing, although it's harder to get, works at the 7th fret. I'm on the thinner string for now. Okay, so you can get this little sound here at the 12th fret, and then the 7th fret. It's right on the 7th fret, okay? So after, there should probably a dot on your 7th fret, so just north of that. You can use any finger. The second finger might be easiest. Some people seem to find second finger easier for doing harmonics. I'm not exactly sure why, but it doesn't matter what finger you use. But that's a really nice, like a second guitar part. So the one guitar plays the E chord, and the other goes, and then they play the A chord, and then the other guitar player plays the 7th fret. E to A. Okay, and you can hear it quite clearly on the original recording. If you're really clever, and this is being a bit clever clogs, but you can actually, there's a way of doing the strum, and you can use a classical method where your first finger, you have to swap how you hold the pick, and hold the pick between second finger and thumb, and then you use your first finger to touch on the 12th fret and pick just behind it. Okay, and then you can do the same thing on the A chord, the 7th fret. So you have E, A, and then this other harmonic. Okay, it's a little bit clever clogs really, but you can do it, especially if you're doing a solo gig or whatever. I've played this tune before and used that as a little, it just sounds nice as a little intro as well. Definitely wouldn't be trying to do that and singing it at the same time. If you do want to sing it, big deals, keeping your foot tapping and your hand moving to make sure that you stay in time, and trying to remember that it's got to be automated. You can't think of the two things at the same time. I've got a whole lesson on 10 tips for learning to, a 10-step method for learning to sing and play at the same time, I think I've called the lesson, and it's kind of a method there, but you've got to automate stuff, okay? So you want to practice this chords and the strumming so much that you can just do it, and then you can think about the words and let the rest of the music happen by itself. That's kind of the deal. But a song like this is a really good starting point for that, because you're not having to worry too much about the strumming patterns, and even in the chorus when we go, I think it's time we stop, children, what's that sound? So we're actually following, stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. It's kind of, it fits we often tend to strum the way we sing, and in this case it kind of complements that and actually makes the song a little bit easier, which is pretty cool for any of you guys getting into singing. So I really hope you enjoy playing this song. Remember, there are plenty more beginner songs and beginner lessons, tips and tricks and all sorts of stuff over on the website, so go and check out the beginner section of that. And I'll see you for plenty more songs and lessons very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye bye.